So I guess you're never really ready. You just sort of run out of time. Welcome, Marketing 434 students. My name is Jeff Kotz, and I'm here to talk to you about the role of marketing research from the 6th edition of the Essentials of Marketing Research by Babin and Zickman. First off, at the start of the series, I'm trying something new. Welcome to the 21st century. Second off, thank you to the Providence College School of Business. I'm here in room Ryan 103 in the new Ryan Center for Business, testing out the new technology. Don't have all of it straightened out, but I'm hoping that maybe we'll have something that's useful. Again, I'm all about the practicality here. Welcome. So now I'm going to start talking about, wait for it. The role of marketing research. So this information corresponds to the textbook. It's mostly outlined here. I want to be able to share some thoughts, though, in the interim. So marketing research is a means by which you answer questions. The key questions in business and marketing research often revolve around what do we sell, how do consumers view our company, what does our company or our product mean, and what do consumers desire. Now, I have experience playing in a number of these different realms in my professional experience, and I'll pepper in those examples from time to time. But I would like to elaborate on most of these bullets from a pretty straightforward perspective. As I had mentioned to my students in class, the way that I do see this material is that I can outline it to you. The context either I can provide or the textbook can provide, but what my desire primarily for these interactions, these virtual lectures, if you will, is to be able to give you an overview of the material that's in the chapter and also to focus on what I think is important. Sometimes the chapters are 30 pages long, and that's a lot of information. There's vignettes and stuff here and there, and it may not be particularly dense, especially at the beginning of the semester. But again, what I talk about is what's important. What I talk about is what you're going to see in the exam. The caveat that other people might think other things are important if they were included by other people, maybe those other people think they're important. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm focusing the conversation here. So that's where you should focus yours as well. So the questions of what do we sell, how do consumers view our company, what does our company and product mean, and what do consumers desire mean? Those are relevant for a couple different reasons. First of all, if we're asking the question, what do we sell, this should also include the benefits that are not easily seen and also the emotional benefits. It's not just that we sell razors, it's that we sell a lifestyle. It's not just that we sell trucks, it's that we sell peace of mind. If you find a product, there's more to what's being sold than simply the product. And we got to make sure that consumers understand that message, because if consumers too narrowly define themselves only on the product they sell, we don't understand how consumers actually view our company. We also want to know what knowledge consumers may have about our product or our brand. If they, for example, if again, you're too focused on your product and you don't actually listen to what your consumers have to say about the corporate social responsibility aspect of it. If you're convinced that you're a green company, but the consumers at large don't believe that, well, then there's a challenge in your marketing and your messaging, because you want consumers to believe that. Presumably, that's why you're doing the good deeds, unless you're just a good company and you want to do good things for good reasons. And also, you got to know what companies desire. I like this old quote. I don't even know if it's a quote. Could be misattributed. But imagine Henry Ford saying, context, the guy who invented the car, approximately, was asked, he said, if you ask consumers what they want, they're going to say they want faster horses. And in some cases, when you ask consumers what they want, you have to make sure you're not just being one-to-one with what they say they want. If you can put together their desires into a product or something meaningful, they might find that more useful than what they thought they wanted. There's also definitions that we think about in terms of what marketing research is. It's the application of science and the scientific method, about using rigor to rule out any other possibilities, any other explanations for a particular phenomenon. But it also includes coming up with an idea and using that idea to help develop theory once you've executed your study or done your research, defining the problem appropriately, gathering information so that you can appropriately inform that question, analyze the data so that you can come to a conclusion, as well as communicating those findings. Communicating the findings is pretty important. As we'll see in chapter 4 when we discuss this, and as I discuss in class, a big part of marketing research is being able to maintain the relationships with your clients. If they ask for the truth and they commission a study and they want you to do something, and I've been guilty of this on definitely the wrong way to go about it. I've made my own mistakes, but you can't always deliver cold, hard facts to an organization, especially if that organization is being represented by a person, because they don't want to hear bad news. And it's not that you can't just package bad news, but you have to make sure that the information and the recommendations that your research provides is communicated in a way that maintains that relationship. Because even if you do deliver truth to a client, they have to decide whether the next research project that they want is going to be commissioned to you again. So there's certainly an emotional or relational communication component to that interaction, not just the informative, you said you wanted to know what people thought about your brand and they think your brand sucks. Well, you have to be able to do a little bit better than that, especially when you're dealing with people. It's not just information. You are often addressing a specific marketing decision. They may need to decide whether or not they want to execute a particular product. I got some experience in new product advertising, new product testing, and for example, should Green Mountain Coffee add cola to its array of pod-based beverages? So if Green Mountain is already producing coffee and they're like, I got it, people like caffeine and brown beverages, let's make cola. Well, if people don't want it, don't perceive your brand as being able to provide a quality product in that arena, you should probably tell Green Mountain not to. As well, there may not be space in the market right now for another cola on the shelf because, well, as we all know, RC is the king of colas, except for Inca Cola, which is also the king of colas, or Coca-Cola. Basic marketing research is conducted, can sometimes be conducted without a specific decision in mind, and that's what makes it basic. It usually doesn't address the needs of a specific organization. It may just be looking at something in general, expanding the limits, as it says here, of marketing knowledge in general, but it's not aimed at solving a particular problem or answering a very specific question, such as should Green Mountain introduce cola? That would be more applied, whereas basic marketing research is pretty general. We may just be testing the validity of a general marketing theory or some phenomenon or investigating it like that. But if we're not specifically trying to answer a question or provide a business recommendation, we're going to call that basic marketing research. The scientific method, yay science, is the method by which researchers go about using knowledge and evidence to reach objective conclusions about the real world. Yeah, marketing research is not just chatting with a couple cats in a focus group and saying, you know what, those people really want cheese in their ice cream cones. We should make that happen. No, that's not exactly how it works, because I don't know that I've ever had ice cream with cheese in it that I enjoyed, and not being part of that group, I wouldn't believe that research. But if we conduct research from the perspective of science, where we say, well, whatever happened in that cheese ice cream conversation, which who knows, that was pretty weird. But we've got this method that we use as a lens, and we put faith and trust into science. And we know that the steps that we used along the way were quality assured. And when we draw our conclusions, we know that other possible explanations, bias, or other intrusive factors, we can rule those out. And we have faith in science, and that's what we use to believe our outcomes. Now, this is a model. It's not the only model, but a model of the scientific method, notice that it's circular, and that's the big part of science, is whatever diagram or visualization that you use to think about science or the scientific method. Ultimately, you have to realize that it feeds back into itself. You start with some idea or some prior knowledge that already exists, and it may or may not already be integrated with theory. And you use that knowledge to come up with ideas, questions, and hypotheses. You test those hypotheses using science, you draw conclusions, and those conclusions in turn should feed back into theory. In theory, it should feed back into theory. And then other people can build off of that. So we can all build off the shoulders of giants. When it comes to doing actual research, we can also think about the orientation through which the research is done here. And we can see in this chart, which is also available in your textbook, a couple different orientations that we can think about. There may be product organization, where we're trying to investigate details of a specific product, figure out what's good about it, how can we make that product better, that thing that we're selling. And it may even be targeted to a specific group of people because not everyone wants every product. You can have production-oriented research, and production-oriented research, the firm will generally prioritize efficiency and effectiveness of the production process. You can have marketing-oriented research, cases where, say, a firm will follow the marketing concept, which focuses on how the firm, say, provides value to customers more than just the physical product itself. And there may be stakeholder orientation, because that recognizes that there's a number of parties that are affected by whatever decision gets made. But effectively, all of these different orientations will feed back into what the business question will do. Or how we answer, say what the business question will do, how we answer ultimately the business question. The marketing concept will focus on how a firm will provide value to customers. Oh, we just did marketing oriented. Yep, I feel derailed. Well, it's not something we execute today. Bye.